A very warm welcome to the second Global Education and Skill Conclave. We are on the day one. It's a 3-day virtual conclave with over 100 decision makers, policy makers, leaders from the education and skill sector, and various other edutech startups and edutech companies who are contributing to the digital India, digital education space would be joining us in this 3-day mega virtual conclave. Right now, we are in the inaugural session and we are joined by a very special guest who would be delivering the keynote address. He's the guest of honor to our inaugural session of second Global Education and Skill Conclave. I had the opportunity to work with this senior bureaucrat and amazing officer who is an administrative innovator. He is known for his quick decision taking in promoting innovation and best practices. He is an IITian from a reputed Delhi IIT college, and he also stood as All India third rank in the civil service examinations in 1995. He is a senior bureaucrat of Telangana cadre of 1996 batch, starting from Visakhapatnam Municipal Corporation, serving as a commissioner, to Hyderabad Collector, Krishna District Collector. He also served as a special commissioner with Greater Hyderabad Municipal Corporation, later on Secretary for Municipal Administration and Urban Development, Information and uh, Information Department as well. Right now, he is leading the higher education department in the state of Telangana, transforming education in the state by modernizing and reorganizing the courses. His efforts, his initiatives could transform the education system in Telangana. As a result, over 43% admissions increase in the state and government degree colleges. At the same time, reorganizing the curriculum through by integrating soft and employability skills. We had this leader transforming education system in Telangana. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Navin Mittal, who is a Commissioner for Technical Education and Higher Education with the Government of Telangana. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us.
Thank you, Sudhir, for a very generous introduction, and it's a real pleasure for me to be in this second Global Education and Skills Conclave. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. We have been seeing your work on ground, sir. The education system has been transforming, and we would like to hear from you your perspective on fostering tech as a culture in education. At the same time, employability skills for the students. Your perspective, and following which we would also like to know the progress and growth story of education in the state of Telangana. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Sudhir, and I must appreciate you for selecting this topic, which is future of education and aspects of fostering technology as a culture. I think education and technology are inseparable. Somehow, for very long time, we have, particularly in the education sector, technology has not penetrated I would say, very deeply compared to some of the other sectors. For example, if you see, many other sectors have completely transformed in about the last 100 years. You see the transport sector, 100 years back, and today is completely indistinguishable. You look at health sector, you look at entertainment sector, you pick up a sector, you would find there's a tremendous transformation has happened. But education was somehow very slow in adopting technology. I mean, if you look at our classrooms, let's say pre-COVID, and a classroom about let's say 100 years back, in most of the institutions, you would not see much of a change either in the layout of the classroom or in the way teaching happens in a classroom, except probably maybe the color of the blackboard has changed from black to green in some, or whiteboard, or maybe a projector got added in some classrooms, but the very nature did not change. But somehow COVID came in, and I must say that the rate of adoption of technology has tremendously accelerated. In fact, if you look at the adoption of technology in last, I would say, 1.5 year, is probably something which would have taken at least 5 to 10 years for the sector to adopt. And the biggest change which has happened is, I would say, change in mindset and change in attitudes of all the stakeholders in the education sector. No, not just the faculty, but also the managements of educational institutions, the parents, the students, the supporting ecosystem. I would say there's a change in mindset of everybody, and I think we are now really moving into a space where technology is now getting, I would say, inextricably, intricately linked into the education. So the two are becoming now, I would say, literally inseparable. And this will really, I would say, accelerate transformation in the education sector, which we have been hoping for in the last few years, but somehow it was elusive. And I think the years to come are kind of transformative in this regard. And I can talk about, I would say, at least three ways in which this can transform. The first is uh, technology now has kind of taken education into a space which we call as personalized learning. In fact, we talk about this term education 4.0, similar to, I would say, industry 4.0, wherein personalized learning is at the backbone of what we are doing. And this is being enabled through technology. The reason is that if you have to customize the learning for every student, there is no other way but to use technology, and we are already seeing this happening in many ways, especially in last, I would say, couple of years. That is that students now are able to learn at their own pace, and in an area of their own liking, and something which they not just, I would say, need to do, but they also aspire to do. And that is the transformation which is happening. So what I'm expecting is that our classrooms also, educational institution classrooms also, are going to change in this whole transaction which happens in the classroom. Even till very recently, in fact, I looked into what is happening in our classrooms, and even till very recently, I can tell you that uh, engineering colleges and polytechnics and degree colleges, there are teachers even today who use the classroom time to actually dictate notes. And that was kind of very shocking for me, that even in the towards the end of the second decade of the 21st century, our classrooms are used for dictating notes, wherein the teacher is simply dictating and the students are simply writing those notes. And I think that's a complete waste of time. The nature of the classroom has to change into what we call basically a flipped classroom, or a classroom where more of discussion and analysis should happen. So information is available to the students through multiple resources, and the students can get that information even outside the classroom also, at their time and pace of their liking. But what is required in the classroom is basically more of analysis and discussion between the teachers and the students, and student to student, and that is when learning will take place. So the education has to change from information providing to learning, and that is what the technology is enabling. So we do have now a lot of these, especially online platforms also, which have come in a big way. In fact, both UGC and DICT have now allowed 40% of the credits to be done on SWAYAM platform. And the new guidelines also point to the fact that in future, we would probably be adding more and more of these learning opportunities and platforms to assist it. And that's what I would say is a very big step forward. So that's one area which is getting totally transformed, from information to learning, and a personalized learning through technology. The second is the whole administrative part of it, in the sense, uh, if we really look at use of technology for administration of our educational institutions, till very recently, we don't really have good examples of complete end-to-end integration in our management of educational institutions and management of the information relating to the student. And I must say that that is also transforming and changing at a very, very rapid pace. In the state of Telangana, in fact, we are developing a university management system which integrates all the initiatives which have happened in the universities, right from, let's say, as recent as 1 year to as old as 2 decades back. Some of these systems developed on different platforms, on different technologies, and many of them don't talk to each other. Their internal database structures are different. They're not able to share information with each other. So we are completely kind of integrating a completely a new system, which is seamless and which is smooth and which integrates the development which has taken place in probably last 2 decades in running these disjointed technology systems in our institutions. And I think a similar thing is required all over the country also, wherein the state governments or even the central government has to take leadership role in developing these systems, because it requires a lot of, I would say, customization. So I do not find any real off the shelf platforms which can directly be implemented in a especially in a university level environment immediately. Also coupled with this, we now also having these learning management systems also. I talked about learning per se, but then management of this learning is also equally important. So we find now a lot of learning management systems coming in, both at international level as well as Indian level also. Some things which suit to our country's need and our environment. So it's now possible to really choose from these LMSs which are available to manage the student learning also, and to provide this ability to find out where the student is, then customize his or her learning according to need. And the third area, I would say, in which technology and education are really, I would say, intertwined, is that education is also education sector is also something which provides technology as a skill to the industry. You know, ultimately, the manpower in the industry comes from the educational sector, and that's why I think even our teaching of what is required in the market or what is required in the industry has also to be very, I would say, dynamic, and something which is relevant to the needs of the industry. And that also addresses the second part of the question which you asked, which is the skill requirement. So somehow in the past, our system has not been very dynamic. We have curriculum changes only, let's say, 3 to 5 years in time, in the sense you have to actually wait for 5 years for your curriculum to change. But technology is something which is changing now every day, every month. And unless until we are uh, keeping pace with what is required in the market or what is happening in the industry, our system will become increasingly irrelevant. So the answer to that is that we have to keep pace with the technological development which happens outside, and the education sector must integrate the developments outside as quickly as possible. So today we can't say that no, okay, this is something which has happened, let's say, in US today, and we have the leverage of, let's say, 3 to 5 years of time to adopt it. No, what has happened today in the West, in the US or Europe today, the development which has taken place will come or has come to India probably already the moment it happened there. And we have to also adopt into our education delivery system as quickly as possible for our students to really meaningfully employed the moment they come out. And that is, I would say, the third component of fostering technology as a culture. So these are the three things which I really want to talk about, which addresses this, I would say, very, very meaningful topic which you have chosen for today's discussion.
Yes, sir. Sir, we would also like to know the progress and the growth that's happening in the state of Telangana. Uh,
Okay, so regarding the first thing which I talked about, which is about personalized learning, we have done a lot of, I would say, development in I would say last 2 years, parallel to the COVID pandemic. One of them is to provide a lot of flexibility to the students in choosing their courses. So especially if I talk about the degree system, we have divided the courses into 4 buckets, and the students can pick up courses from any bucket. And we see that due to that, the student choices have dramatically improved. Earlier, there were fixed choices. For example, I can tell you an example of one of the best colleges in the state of Telangana, which is Govt City College in Hyderabad. The students had only about 11 combinations prior to this exercise. And last year, when we introduced this flexibility, the students had 53 combinations. So from 11 to 53 combinations, it increased just by revamping the architecture. We didn't change the courses. We just allowed flexibility in how the subjects or the courses can be chosen, and it completely increased the student choices. The second, what we have done is there are certain subjects which are not available in all the colleges. For example, 5 subjects we have chosen initially, which is geography, sociology, public administration, psychology, and journalism, mass communication. And we find either there is no teaching resource available for the students to learn it, or enough number of students are not available to justify a teaching resource. And that's why we are developing online modules for these 5 courses, which we have started from last year. So this is the second year which we are going in for, wherein we have allowed students across the state to choose those courses. And third, obviously, is the UGC guideline for 40% credits through SWAM platform. That is something which is allowed to the students. And also, what we have done is we have also brought in a learning management system at the back end of it, wherein we can actually monitor the student performance in a proper way. On the engineering side, I think there are a couple of additional changes which have happened. One is the possibility of a minor and specialization for engineering courses. Students can choose a horizontal, vertical as a minor, and a vertical integration for a specialization. And that is I must say that would give very, very good yields in the technical sector to come. Two is we have also changed our curriculum to make it more dynamic, which I was talking about, both in degree as well as in the engineering side of it. And we have also provided a lot of flexibility in the curriculum also. Uh, for the employability part, there used to be certain soft skills which used to be an extracurricular skills, and it was left to the college to provide those skills for the employability part. But what we realized is that unless until you bring those skills also into the core of education, it doesn't reach everybody. There will be few institutions which take it up, but then everybody may not do, or every student may not like to stay back in the campus unless until it is kind of core. So we have brought in those soft skills as the core of the curriculum, as for credit courses, and available in all the colleges throughout the state, both in degree as well as in technical institutions. And I feel that that would give very good result in the times to come. And about administration, I already told you about the university management system which we are developing, which is integrating all the requirements of the universities and what has been done in the past to kind of completely develop a completely integrated platform. In colleges, also in government colleges, we have taken a lot of tech initiatives, like e-office is there in all our government institutions, and also in the commissionerate. We started it in 2019, and that has really helped, especially in the pandemic, because we found that more work got done in our department in pandemic than physically, because we moved from an attendance based system to more of a performance based system, and we found that our pendency is completely gone away, and our entire now communication between the commissionerate and the colleges, government colleges, completely digital, and absolutely, I would say, quick and online. So that has I would say given very good results.
We are actually glad to hear the progress and the growth stories, sir. Basically, transforming the education, because most of the underprivileged and those from the rural areas would prefer the government or the state-run colleges. And we are glad that whatever is happening in the market is being provided in the government colleges. As a result, increase in the admissions speaks a volume about it. We are glad, and I can already see that many of the states and institution adopting this idea, and we are glad that something new we got to know, that is university management system, where all the university in the states are coming on one platform and sharing rather than being in silos. Glad that you have joined us, sir, and shared your perspective and also the growth story in the state of Telangana. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us.
Thank you.